Cyborgs, today, people's bodies are more perfectly melded with technology than we could have imagined mere decades ago. Superhuman strength, dexterity, and senses are no longer science fiction, they're already here. Though cutting-edge technology offers us a glimpse into the capabilities of enhanced humans in the future, it's most useful these days as support for people who have been affected by a disability. Cyborg technology can replace missing limbs, organs, and bodily senses. Sometimes it can even enhance the body's typical function. Here are 6 of the most striking examples of this cyborg present. They show us how far we have already come and how far we could go in the future. Hearing colors with an antenna. Activist and artist Neil Harbison was born without the ability to see color. In 2004, he decided to change that. He mounted an electronic antenna to the lower back of his skull that turns frequencies of light into vibrations his brain interprets as sound, allowing him to hear color. These frequencies are even able to go beyond the visual spectrum, allowing him to hear invisible frequencies such as infrared and ultraviolet. There is no difference between the software and my brain or my antenna and any other body part. Being united to cybernetics makes me feel that I am technology, he said in a National Geographic interview. His body modification was not always well accepted. The British government took issue when the antenna showed up in Harbison's passport photo. Harbison fought the government to keep it in. He won, becoming the first legally recognized cyborg, the Luca arm. The Luca arm, named after Luke Skywalker, is a highly advanced prosthetic that lends the wearer a sense of touch. A specialized motor can provide feedback to mimic the resistance offered by various physical objects. Users can feel that a pillow offers less resistance than a brick. With the help of funding from the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, the finished design received US Food and Drug Administration FDA approval in 2014. Electronic sensors receive signals from the wearer's muscles that the device then translates into physical movement. The wearer can manipulate multiple joints at once through switches that can be controlled with his or her feet. The first commercially available Luke arm became available to a small group of military amputees in late 2016. Amputees can now buy the prosthetic through their physicians, but the device is rumored to cost around $100,000. Artificial vision. In his 20s, Jens Naumann was involved in 2 separate accidents that shot metal shards into his eyes, causing him to lose his vision. In 2002, at the age of 37, Naumann participated in a clinical trial performed at the Lisbon-based Dobell Institute, in which a television camera was connected straight to his brain, bypassing his faulty eyes. Dots of light combined to form shapes and outlines of the world around him, giving him this kind of dot matrix type vision. The system enabled him to see Christmas lights outlining his home in Canada that year. Unfortunately, the system failed only after a couple of weeks, and when William Dobell, the original inventor of the technology, passed away in 2004, he left behind almost no documentation, leaving technicians no instructions for how to repair Naumann's system. In 2010, Naumann had the system surgically removed, rendering him completely blind once again. The mind-controlled bionic leg was first used in 2012 by Zach Vorter, a software engineer from Seattle whose leg was amputated above the knee in 2009. The technology that translates brain signals into physical movement, called Targeted Muscle Reinnervation, or TMR, was first created in 2003 for upper limb prosthetics. But Vorta's prosthetic was revolutionary because it was the first leg prosthetic to use it. In 2012, Zach Vorta climbed the 2,100 steps of the Willis Tower in Chicago with the help of his prosthetic leg. It took him 53 minutes and 9 seconds. Prosthetics company Bionic has created some of the most sophisticated prosthetic hands to date. Individual motors move every joint along every digit independently. To help with everyday use, the Bionic has 14 predetermined grip patterns. Highly sensitive motors vary the speed and force of the grip in real time. It's delicate enough for the user to hold an egg between his or her index finger and thumb, and robust enough to hold up to 45 kilograms or 99 pounds. The Bionic hand has been available commercially since 2010. Models released in the years since have improved its battery life, flexibility, and software. Toronto-based filmmaker Rob Spence decided to replace his missing right eye with a prosthetic equipped with a wirelessly transmitting video camera. Thanks to a partnership with an RF wireless design company and a group of electrical engineers, Spence created a prosthetic eye shell that could house enough electronics in such a small, confined space. The camera can record up to 30 minutes of footage before depleting the battery. Spence used footage captured by his eye prosthetic in a documentary called Deus Ex, the Cyborg documentary. The world's first cyborgs. Humanity's next evolutionary phase is here. A growing movement of people are modifying their bodies to enhance their senses, improve their health, or extend their human abilities. Their goal is not just to use or wear technology, but to re-engineer their bodies with it. Here, 5 people explain how their implants and body hacks affect the way they experience life. Neil Harbison, I can hear colors. Neil demonstrates how his antenna allows him to hear colors. Born with achromatopsia, Neil can only see in shades of grey, but the antenna allows him to hear color. He can also sense invisible parts of the electromagnetic spectrum, such as infrared and ultraviolet. Listen to the clip to hear what Neil hears. The antenna's internet connection allows Neil to receive colors from space, as well as images, videos, music, or phone calls directly into his head via external devices like mobile phones or satellites. In 2010, Neil co-founded the Cyborg Foundation. Moon Ribbers, I can feel the earth move. Moon describes her implant, which allows her to sense seismic activity. Moon has an implant, which allows her to sense seismic activity and feel earthquakes happening in real time all around the world. She then translates this new sense on stage in her main dance piece, Waiting for Earthquakes. She waits for an earthquake to take place and then moves according to the seismic intensity. Moon Ribas co-founded the Cyborg Foundation with Neil Harbison. The organization aims to help people become cyborgs, defend cyborg rights, and promote cyborgism as an artistic and social movement. Frank Swain, I can hear Wi-Fi. Frank's modified hearing aids allow him to hear the Wi-Fi around him. Frank was diagnosed with early hearing loss when he was 25 and fitted with a hearing aid 3 years ago. Since then, he has worked with sound artist Daniel Jones on a project to turn the invisible Wi-Fi fields around him into a soundscape which is delivered through his hearing aids. Listen to the clip to hear what Frank hears. Frank Swain presented Meet the Cyborgs and Hack My Hearing on BBC Radio 4. Dana Lewis, I have an artificial pancreas. Dana explains how she developed her artificial pancreas. Dana has created an artificial pancreas to help manage her type 1 diabetes. Frustrated by the limitations of the medical devices on offer to measure and control her blood sugar levels, Dana decided to take matters into her own hands. She and her husband Scott modified her glucose monitor and insulin pump to create a closed-loop system. It predicts what her blood sugar level will be hours into the future and automatically measures out the correct dose of insulin. The couple have released the source code online at openapps.org, and the medical industry is currently developing new devices based on their prototypes. Scott Cohen. I'm a human compass. Scott demonstrates how his NorthSense device works. Scott started his career in the music industry in the 1990s. He was fascinated by the way the internet might transform how we experience and share music. Then he decided to transform himself. Scott and his business partner, Liviu Babitz, have developed a new commercial cybernetic device called the NorthSense. Consisting of a microchip attached to piercings in the skin, it is programmed to vibrate every time it faces magnetic north.